Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wargame Show. We got Larry here. We got Adam. We got Goatboy. He's here this week.
I'm staying golden.
Awesome.
Well done,
You can see B. Arthur right there.
Nice. Thank you all for joining us. We are talking all about all the cool new releases and what's going on this week in the world of tabletop miniatures, and that means that we're going to start off with 40K. We got all kinds of good stuff going on today. So,
indeed,
this last week, real quick, we had what did we have, Adam? There was
the Gatebreaker. The Gatebreaker
yes.
that you were showing off.
We'll do
the Gargants.
Yep, we got the Gatebreaker. All the there's some AOS stuff. We'll be talking about that later in the show. But the Sons of Bahamut, this big huge guy, came out. And for 40K, we got kind of some of the just kind of the basic building blocks for the Necrons showed up. Oh, well, and that guy, the Super Gunslinger,
yep.
Thomas. What is that? The Hexmark Destroyer came out.
Hexmark Destroyer.
Dun dun dun, Mister. I have the only way you beat a two-armed gunslinger was with a 3-armed gunslinger, like the Gene Stealer cult did. And the only way to beat that guy is with a 6-armed gunslinger, like the Necrons did. So he came out this week.
The worst thing about it is when we get pizza, he takes 6 slices. He's got 6 hands. He's such
at a time, but he only has one mouth.
Yeah, and it's like he just kind of shoves it up in there and nothing. I mean, it's just awful. And why does he always want the weird pizza?
So he's there, and
every time
the Scorpek Lords came out, and the Scorpek Destroyers came out, and just standard Necron Warriors. So these are the kits that came. These are the units that came in the Indominus box set. Now they've shown up as just basic boxes. So you're going to be using these guys just to fill out the meat and potatoes of your Necron army. So it's those guys. They come. It's 10 warriors, and then you get the little scarabs. So after you buy a few of those, you get a bunch of scarab swarms too. They're the new cool scarabs that have 50% more scarabs per base than the old scarabs. And they're not all the same size, and they don't look like Roombas like the old ones did. So pretty cool there.
I think Roombas look like Scarabs because Scarabs came out first.
I am waiting for someone to modify their Roomba to look like a Scarab. It's just a decal. You just put a little decal on the top of it. It'll look cool. So all those came out, and then this upcoming week we got so much stuff is coming out.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of it. So. We got Necron Destroyer. Necron Monolith is coming out. Shard of the Void Dragon is coming out.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the 2 high interest kits that are there. Let me get the full list here because I have it. And then we have the those weird terrain piece. The Convergence of Dominion is coming out. That I think it's like 3 of them per box. It's like a set of them.
Yeah,
I think those are coming out, and then Ophidian Destroyers, which are
the Wraith.
Yeah, they're kind of a weird unit. Yeah, they're not just kind of. They're very similar to Wraiths, except they're Necrons instead of Canoptic constructs. So,
and what's weird is every time they hit an opponent, you draw a card.
Something, yes. But and then on the Space Marine side, we get the Primaries Tech Marine. This is a guy who is, he's just. I'm not going to say that he's a super exciting guy. He's someone who's a missing piece of the puzzle. He's one of those last hey, as we're replacing the entire line with Primaris, where's the Tech Marine? Well, there he is. Now he's shown up.
He is actually pretty good for 80 points. He does a lot for 80 points.
The Hammerfall Bunker, the first of Tom is already shaking his head. He's like, no. Solomon Grundy does not approve the Hammerfall Bunker.
Yeah, the FAQ, so he can't sneak on the edge of the battlefield.
Oh my god. So that's what's coming out this week, and I want to just so we have what came out last week and what came out this week. Basically, I think let's just kind of riff on what is going on. What do we like? What do we not like about all these units, and where do we think things are going? Thomas, I'm going to let you start with your personal opinion, tell me deep down in your heart what you feel about the Hammerfall bunker.
I just don't know what it's supposed to do. No one can get in it. It's like it doesn't deep strike, or it can't deep strike. It can't be set up.
That's
it's
correct.
It's like a giant knight took a big gun dump, and that's what's on the field. It's like this big chunky thing. That's just not like, really what they should have done was, like, instead of something that just shoots guns, they should have made it some kind of command relay or something that said, okay, I'm going to give this unit, I'm going to pick a unit, and that unit within like X amount gets rerolls, stuff
That's
like this.
That's an interesting concept to where it would be interesting. And when you look at the Hammerfall bunker, it does look like the type of thing that they could come back to this, like next edition, and make a version of it with just a different turret. Like they can do different things with it in the future, right? It's that kind of a kit.
I don't think you see the problem is I don't think Marines need something that doesn't shoot very well in the backfield. They have more than enough stuff that's going to do more damage. So why would they ever go into it? Like, like the Chaos's evil butt of doom, the star butt thing. That thing is interesting. Yeah, that thing is interesting because it does. Because it does something and it gets bigger, it gets madder, and it does something for the army. The reason why you don't.
Really reminds me of this thing reminds me of all that Tau terrain. Remember when the Tau terrain came out, and everyone was like, "Oh man, it looks so cool," and then no one ever used it. And then it's like,
it can move around. That's the one thing about the Tau terrain. It can move around and it does some weird stuff, but it just doesn't really fit in the army for the style because the way the army works is like it only affected Tau warriors and all the other stuff where it suits. It didn't really affect the aspect of what is Tau now. But like this thing should have it's like remove any of the weapon stuff and be like, let's make it a command bunker. At this point, it says, hey, I'm going to tell this unit to reroll all hits, or I'm going to tell this unit to do something that's more interesting, or you can command bunker off and then you can increase your aura out to another set of units. There's things that it could do that's better than I just shoot a bunch of bullets really crappy at something, everything around me because it sees a squirrel and shoots it.
To me, as someone who's kind of been watching the game for a long time and kind of studying the hints on this thing feels like a unit that started as something and then in playtest got drastically changed, is what it feels like. Like because it's so weird and it just like has mismatched things and it doesn't make sense, and because it shows up in the codex called the Hammerfall bunker, but then it shows up it's described in the core rulebook as a drop turret. Right, it feels like something like they and then when you look at the model and like the model looks like it has things that don't make sense in the rules. Like this feels like maybe it was originally supposed to be something along the lines of a drop pod, and then possibly in testing or something they were like, no, this is not going to work, and then it just kind of like what we see now isn't what it was originally envisioned to be. Is what it feels like. It just doesn't make sense.
I know there's always the worry of doing too much on these objective stuff or these buildings, but my always thought most of it is that you can blow these things up. There's a lot of guns that will just destroy it. And so I think, I don't know, it just doesn't fit. So I'm really interested to see what the Necron one does, because obviously the Necrons have multiple setups, and they're supposed to shoot something out or cost something else. So, I'm waiting to see. I'm trying to remember what they did. No one seems excited about them, so I don't expect them to be very good.
Do you want to talk a little bit about you and Adam? Because apparently, while everyone seems to be thumbs down on the Hammerfall, let's talk a little bit about the. What do you guys think about the Primaries Tech Marine? And Thomas, why do you think he's good? What's up with him?
Points. He's 80 points. He has a lot of attacks. He hits pretty hard, and he can make one of your vehicles hit on a 2-up most of the time. And all that in an 80-point model is really, really, really rough. I mean, he's 2-up save. He'll come beat the crap out of stuff if he has to. And so I just, if you're playing and we've talked about, or I'll talk about later this week, or you've already posted how I like dreadnoughts. So they're become very important in that kind of build. Like, all right, Iron Hands can have, 2 or 3 dreadnoughts hitting on 2 3-roll 1s real easy. Plus their healing, plus this other stuff, and overall, he's good at 80 points. He's good. Like there's a lot of this, aspect to these things where it's like you really don't have to do much to them. You're not really comboing a lot of stuff. You're not having to be like, there's the chaplain roll this, everything else. He has a decent amount of attack. So like he's just not bad. I mean, if you're playing vehicles, there's going to be no reason not to take it. And he's Primaris, so all the Primaris stuff works for him.
Yep. What do you guys think of the what do you think about the Master of the Forge upgrade option? Worth it or not worth it? Or do you take, is the Tech Marine by himself good enough?
If you're doing the type of list you want, I mean, if you're running a Dreadnought where you're going to be healing, you want to do stuff, then you're going to upgrade him. The question with that one is, which points do you pay for him? Do you pay the back of the book points or the front of the book points? I'm pretty sure it's back of the book points because anytime they have something that goes up that much in points means that that's most likely the price they want the points at. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you usually take them, but it's like I think those upgrades are one or two. You do only do one, maybe two, but most of the part you're not really going to see. You're going to see one, and the one I expect to see most of the time is the chaplain one is what I expect to see most of the time. The librarian one has some benefit. There's something about the librarian that could be good too, with some weird combos against other psychic stuff. But for the most part, I see the chaplain one, and I like the chaplain one, and I like the company chapter company
champion.
There you go. Yeah, I
Champion,
like him.
or chapter
I like
champion.
him. Yeah, because he's kind of good. He's like a weird little smash captain. He'll hit on 2. His sword does 3 damage. He has some cool rules that affect him. I wish he was Primaris because the army that I'm almost done with for myself is an all Primaris army, and if I want to play this jerk, I want a Primaris jerk. And having him be a regular Marine, firstborn, they're just losers who have Werthers in their pockets, and I don't want to talk to them. So
Hey man, don't diss the Werthers.
I don't need no Werthers. I don't need to learn about how you had to go up in the snow to fight heretic Chaos Space Marines every
It goes
day.
both ways, man.
And you only ate a bologna sandwich. I don't want to hear that stuff. I want to know about the new Primaris guys because they're cool, bro. They got hair in their faces, and they're they know about stuff.
Yep.
They know how to use technology.
Exactly.
So, what do we think about the convergence of Dominion?
I think it's an interesting looking kit. I don't know. Again, don't have a Necron army. Haven't got to play around with it at all. But I think as a kid, it's interesting. It's basically like the 3 different shards that that
Page
can
111
teleport around.
Page 111.
It can teleport
God,
around, and
I wish I knew how
it's
to read.
basically 3 different versions of like one of those menhirs that the Silent King has, but they're kind of bigger. So I don't know. It's probably going to be really easy to build too.
It's weird that what you would expect is that you would place these 3 things and that they have auras and help units. So they give you they give you leadership buffs and they count as models. Basically, they count as aura nodes for command protocols, which is interesting. But the weird part is that so you would assume that they would stay in place because they're big things and that they would teleport Necron units, but they don't.
No.
They teleport. Each turn, you can pick up one of them and move it somewhere else on the board within 9 inches, which is just kind of Weird. But I mean,
it feels very timey-wimey of the Necrons. That's why they look like there's 3 different versions of it, because it's phasing through time or something. I don't know if that's exactly what's going on, but that's what it reminds me of. They're
not super. I mean, hard to kill. I mean, toughness. Toughness 8, 10 wounds. I mean, I guess they are tough. They're very tough.
They are at the point where you have to dedicate firepower to kill them, and you probably don't want to waste the shots to do it. So they could randomly, at toughness 8 with 10 wounds, it's gonna take the squad that you wanted to shoot at something else with important. You're gonna have to dedicate all of those shots into one to drop it, and it's I don't know if I want to do that consistently, or do I risk it and only shoot a couple of guys, but then it ends up surviving, and then it was a complete waste. So.
And they do have a crappy gun, so they can actually shoot and damage people. And 120 points for all 3. I mean, that's a lot of wounds for the points, right? So it's kind of the weird thing is
they can hop around, block line of sight, get in the way. Maybe not block line of sight, but block area
So
off or whatever.
Thomas, can these things claim objectives or not?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
think
there's
so.
no weird. Right. I mean, I don't know if there's some weird thing to where like fortifications can't claim objectives because they are fortifications.
The one interesting thing is they activate command protocols off of it. So just like what I talked about, exactly what Banana Andrew. That's why I was double checking and reading. That's why I spent a little bit of time reading it. So basically, with command protocols, you have to have your units near a character who are activating these command protocols through it.
Right.
These things activate command protocols, which is really important when you don't want your characters in the backfield and you want stuff in your backfield to do stuff. Right. So that means you can be aggressive with your characters moving up front with your army.
Okay.
So it feels I don't think you're going to teleport it. Its gun, like it is a really weird gun because its damage is great, its AP is great, its strength sucks. So you're like, wait a minute, why is this -3 damage, strength 4? Also, why is it D3? Why not make it just D6? Why not just make it 6 shots at strength 4? That'd be really good because it's one of those. It's like
it's weird. It's just weird.
I think it's a weird unit. You're probably not going to see a ton of them. To be perfect.
I mean, it's cool models. I think the models look great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to show people for terrain.
The only thing that makes me think. The only thing that makes me think it might be interesting is just that it's like it's really bizarre and funky, but it is also it's just really cheap. It's just really cheap. So I mean, I could see Necron players experimenting with it and seeing like I'm actually wondering if it's the opposite, Banana Andrew, whether or not it's you're going to have because like I've played Necrons before, whether or not you're going to have like your firepower units hanging back, and then these things are hopping up with your army to support it as your army is moving up to midfield, and then you're just like,
they just don't have enough wounds really to do. I mean, it's one of those things that's like I think you leave in the back. They're they can be randomly kind of big and kind of clunky, and they get in the way of stuff. So it's an interesting idea. I kind of wish there were like AOS where they were just like free for your army. Like they would have done some of this stuff as just free. I'm really always surprised when GW doesn't do that because it's like that's a good way for people to just buy a kit that they might not necessarily want to spend the money on. But yeah, overall, like I said, it looks neat. I think the most important release out of what the most important release is out of this batch of stuff. Besides the Primaries Tech Marine, the most important release is the Void Dragon.
Yeah, think so.
The Void Dragon.
Let's talk about this, but probably the Void Dragon.
Talk about
the Void Dragon. The Void Dragon is very good.
Okay, so let's talk about the Void Dragon. Catan Shard of the Void Dragon. He's 18 power. He is. Let me go look at his points.
350.
I'm looking at him. Where is he? Where's the Catan? Catans are what? Heavy sports?
No, they're elites.
Where did he go? They're elites. I'm looking at the elite.
He's not a Lord of War.
Catan, yep, he is 350 points. All right, so first of all, these guys have all kinds of crazy special rules. They're bonkers. They're toughness 7 with 9 wounds, 3-up save. They have fly. They're monsters. They're characters. They have living metal, so they're going to heal. So every turn they're going to heal themselves. Right? That's Necrodermis, I think.
Yep. So
Necrodermis is the big one. They can't suffer more than 3 wounds ever in the same phase. Yeah. So they have the Gauze rule or the Marathi rule. So they all have that, which all Catan have. So right there, that's going to be really ugly. From a purely fluff point of view, you cannot use a Lookout Sir on them, which I think is great. Yeah, like specifically because the Necrons are like, yes, kill this guy. Like we totally want you to kill these guys. We hate these guys. When you kill him,
don't like those guys. So yeah.
He's going to go back into our box, and we'll release him next week. So please kill this guy.
He is very good because he has a targeted mortal wound ability, as well as a way to hit characters with his laser beam. And he just destroys vehicles, and he heals himself by destroying vehicles. So you basically have this guy with Satan powers to do stuff. He has a shooting attack. He can heal himself as needed, and he can do some weird pinpoint mortal wound damage. So basically, he can sit there and just throw out a decent amount of mortal wounds. He's hard to kill, and I think there's a couple things that can heal him too. If I know my one of my favorite people in the world, Ben Moley, is very excited about this guy, which means I should be very worried about this guy. If there's anything that he likes about him or has some kind of aspect that he enjoys about him, that is never a good thing for me. So whenever I get a chance to play him again sometime next year, or if we get lucky and towards the end of the year, I know that he has probably made my buddy Nick Rose quit the game many times because of his Necrons, is what I'm guessing. Perfect. So,
whew, man. So let me see what his spear does. You make an attack with a weapon. Of course, he has 5 attacks. If a hit is scored, you draw a straight line between the closest point on the model's base and that of the closest model. What's the range on this thing? 12. So, and then make 1 wound roll against each target unit and each other unit that it passes over. And with its stats. So strength 9, AP -4, D6 damage, unless it is a vehicle, in which case it changes from D6 to D3 +3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a stat profile, the D3 or 3 plus D3. That's a damage type I'd like to see more in the game, actually.
Yes.
For like things like las cannons or things that have D6 wounds. I think that it's a much better just overall, or some other rule that allows the 1, 2, and 3 to become just a flat 3 damage. We've seen GW experiment with that already, so I kind of wish that was a thing. Maybe at like half range, but
and then he knows Voltaic Storm and one other power that you pick. Let me go look on the chart real quick on the.
He knows it, and then he has his own unique one.
Yep. And
his unique one is very good.
Voltaic Storm is, what does that do? That is his unique one. There it is. Select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches and visible to him. Roll a d6 on a 2-up. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. It suffers D6 if you're a vehicle, and until the end of the next turn, if it is a vehicle, where characteristics change, if it loses wounds, you count its number of wounds it has remaining as half. So it really screws up vehicles. So he can just do that every turn anyway, and then he just picks another one off the table.
Yeah, another showing that Necrons do not give any Fs about knights.
It's true.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna come for your dreadnoughts, Thomas.
The dreadnoughts are not going to be anywhere. Yeah, neuters are not. I would say, does a testicle shot to the knights, and they're not in a good place. Hi, Cat.
This is my cat.
There is a way to have them ignore invulnerable saves, and I don't know where it is.
There's a it
may be a strat, right?
There's a strat that does something Necron. Entropic Strike or something like that. I think it's a Cetan shard.
Yeah.
Cetan.
Cetan. It's like a pecan, but it's a Cetan.
So basically, you're going to be taking the Void Dragon to just wreck shop on people who have vehicles, and he actually has a ranged shot, which is nice. Mm-hmm. You're going to take the Nightbringer is just a pure damage dealer who's even deadlier. Probably not quite as deadly against vehicles, but deadlier against everything else. But he's melee only. He has no ranged attacks whatsoever. But if he reaches you, you're dead.
He's a Cetan power, so you can at least do that one. But no, that's the big thing is that he has a targeted mortal wound attack, which is what's important about that guy. Plus,
the dragon,
Plus, it is a model that you'll most likely be able to get while the Nightbringer and the other dude is Finecast, Deceiver. And unless you're a Necron player who's played Necrons a long time, you probably are not going to be able to get one right away. So.
Oh yeah. That Nightbringer model, he's like that is going to be like I'm sure that is the next run on a the run on the a random 40K miniature that's been around forever, that has been ignored and no one's ever wanted, that everyone in the world is going to want to buy now? Nightbringer. And you will.
Yeah, it'll be on one of those. Hey, we're making some models. You're like, it'll just be randomly in that random Finecast pile, or they'll have a box of them somewhere. Oh crap!
Yeah, I agree. What I was thinking is really interesting is people are basically saying that like any of these guys, but especially Nightbringer, they're like, these guys choose. It's a weird rock paper scissors model, because these are units that they chew through the traditionally tough, like when you have squads of multi-wound guys with good and vulnerable saves that are you're just like super just ultra tough units that just you can't easily kill or chew through. These Catan just kill them like they're nothing. They just kill them like they're cultists.
Yes. So if the Death Star issue was still in 40K, these would be your answer to those Death Stars, because they would just hit that Death Star and you would just pick up models.
Oh yeah,
and you can't kill them all. You can't kill them in one round of anything. You've got
and they don't degrade. And they don't get degrade, so it doesn't even matter. So like, you gotta kill me till the very last goody two shoes drop.
And then the other weird thing is that if you look at both the Void Dragon and the Nightbringer, both of these guys also have like alternative melee. They have like their crappy melee weapon that gives them tons of attacks. So that'll help them deal. Like, you can't tar pit them easily either. Like, if you throw like a bunch of like Gretchen or boys or cultists against them, it's not going to keep them in there all game. Like, they'll chew through big units really fast too.
I remember I think the C-Tan powers will still go off while they're inside. If they're locked in, they're like, no, I'm going to do some damage to you. I'm going to do some damage over here. The only thing they can't do is their shooting attack.
What I think
they're a monster. No, they're a monster. They can still do their shooting attack. Never mind.
Yeah. What I thought was really funny is people were like, it's totally not fair, because like the Nightbringer can totally screw off. He can kill all the people who have all those weird, like, I can't take more than 3 wounds. So he screws everything over, and they're like, how do you stop him? And you want to know how you stop the Nightbringer? Like, because they also have that rule. They take the I ignore your, you can only take 3 damage, but I myself can only take 3 damage also, because because they all have necrodermis. Nightbringer,
you can target them every turn. They can never hide. So you're so if you're really worried about him, just have things the way you do 3 damage in multiple turns.
They have 3 wounds. They have 9 wounds, right? So it's 3 damage in the shooting, 3 damage in the assault, and 3 damage in the psychic phase.
Yeah.
Like, they're not immune to psychic powers.
Nightbringers are very lethal against other Nightbringers, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like the T-1000 when it comes together, it just gets bigger.
Yes, which I was like, oh right, because that's funny. If there's 2 Nightbringers on the board, whichever one charges wins and just eats the other. Pretty much, which is funny.
Unless you have a Silent King near it, then you'd be like, no, you don't go first.
There you go.
True.
The combo, Silent King plus the Nightbringer.
So, moral of the story, Catan have gone from being like trash for what? Like, how many editions has it been, Thomas? Since like Catan were good? 3. It's been a lot.
More than that. I don't even remember them being good back in the heydays of Nedzilla. I didn't think they were good then. You had the 3. No, they were. No, they had that was it. That was when they were good, because they had a weird redeploy, move stuff around thing. That was when
the Deceiver. The Deceiver used to be when he first came out, like way back, 4th maybe? Like, when the original Necron Codex came out in 3rd. So whenever they came out,
him and Eldrad could do the shuffle game.
Yes, they could do them. Yeah,
I remember someone's army was 3 monoliths with the Deceiver hidden behind it, and it would shoot from its feet underneath, pew, and shoot a beam out from there, and be like, "What are you doing?"
The Fish of Fury days.
That was a good old Willingham. Gave him some crap for that one. It was funny though. Now that I think about it.
Catan are back, everybody. Catan are back. They're going to be really solid. You're going to see them.
You're going to see the Void Dragon.
Dust them off. Take out your little compressed air. Blow all the dust off them.
How much do you think this Void Dragon kit's going to be? What's your guess? We hadn't seen the prices yet. I'm going to guess it's going to be one.
The Void Dragon is
135.
125. 125.
85 pounds. Sorry, euros. If it's 85 euros, it's pretty close. It's probably around $100. It's like 90.
I'm going to guess
probably
125. I'm going to guess it's going to be the greater demon cost now.
It could be 110. It's a huge. Well, also the completely bizarre thing about Catan is like they're all 350. They're all roughly lethal. They're all you're going to take whatever your flavor of Catan is. There's 4 different versions of them, but the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon is a massive kit on a huge ass base that's like as big as the Silent King. And the other 2 are pipsqueaks that are like 2.5 inches
They
tall
originally came on Terminator
on a 40
bases.
mil base.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're like on tiny little bases. So people are going to be pulling these things out. And so like, I don't know whether there's, I don't think 9th edition has, like, remember like towards the end of 8th, they put out the big master like list of like everything is supposed to be based on this size. Like technically all that stuff is illegal now. So you're going to see these little teeny tiny baby Catans hiding behind things.
Wouldn't that still be the legal version, the legal sizes for everything though?
I mean, they can set whatever they want to for match play.
The big thing with these Citons is that you kind of want them seen. I mean, you want a big base because they cover a lot more distance.
Sure.
So I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, it is ridiculous that we don't have a single Transcendent Citan kit as well as Nightbringer and Deceiver kits. I'm happy. I'm very happy that we have a Void Dragon. It's a very beautiful model. It looks awesome. It looks like it's not nearly as much of a pain in the ass to build as a Silent King. But
no.
Should have called me, Thomas.
I'm about to give it back to you to finish it, and then I'll because that's how upset I am. And I'd like to say, he's sitting here. Look at this. This is all I got. Stupid piece of crap. Piece of crap.
It looks
Thomas
good,
has
though.
officially found a miniature that broke his spirit.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No, there's a specific miniature for Privateer Press that broke my spirit. Is the worst miniature I've ever put together. It's all metal, super teeny tiny like ninja ladies, and the hilts of their swords that go on their backs is separate. A tiny little metal hilt that you have to glue in there without any kind of tab or anything. I was like,
nope,
you're garbage. You're garbage. This is a garbage design. Whoever did this needs to be fired right now.
So
he was mad.
I'm going to go from the ultra sexiest part of the Necron army, Catan, that kind of stuff, to, in theory, one of the boring parts of the Necron army, but the part that people, I've been reading online and people have been saying, pay attention because warriors are back and that there's all kinds of weird tricks and ways to make them good. So what are you guys thinking about warriors?
So
I have nothing to say about warriors. I do not know. I'm just opening the topic up for you guys. Why are warriors good now?
So reanimation protocols has been kind of nerfed for the bigger model wounded units. So anything that's a single wound is a very powerful reanimation protocol because you can basically every save is a single model back. So what you end up doing is you're able to get to a 4-up. You can roll the command protocols, do another turn, roll the command protocols again for whatever's dead again to get them back, and then heal G3 or 3 and everything else through all the other stuff. So basically you have a unit of 20 jerks that are very hard to kill, take up a decent amount of space, and they shoot okay. Like you can do all this with the shoot okay. So like right now, I think that the one we were talking about is the comboed, the one you make yourself dynasty that basically gives you you ignore -1 initially, right? If you don't move, it's one of the ones where you don't move and you get bonuses if you don't.
When you're in your deployment zone.
No. Yeah, so it's one of the ones.
Make your own dynasty rules. Okay.
Make your own dynasty. There's a couple of them that are very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat, note their number is Legion. Reroll reanimation protocol ones of 1 for this unit. Immortals don't have that. So warriors are tougher right there. So they're going to be coming back more often, which is good.
I just like the new Gauze Reaper. It's 18 inches, I think, but it's strength 5 AP and it's 2 shots. And I think it's is it AP 1 or is it AP 1 or 2? I think it's 1.
Strength 5 AP -1, 1 damage, 12-inch range.
12-inch range. So
12.
I do like those because the warriors are tougher than they used to be. Just because of the way the reanimation protocols work like that. So getting within 12 inches with the Reapers and then just unloading a god-awful amount of shots at strength 5, AP -1 seems promising.
I mean, Necrons
if you have the old
plenty of
Thought Slayers,
ways.
though, they're not bad. It's still rapid fire range, and like you can still dump a ton of shots too with those guys. So both options seem pretty good.
I mean, Necrons have always had ways of getting their guys in quick because they have so many ways of teleporting. You can teleport in, from all the flyers. You can teleport in from the monolith. Now in Ninth Edition, you can just outflank and walk in.
And they're assault, so you can run. You can advance and still fire them. You get a penalty, but you have double the shots. So,
Yeah. And they're BS3 plus. Wiggle room. So
yeah,
they're solid.
Yeah, even if you advance with a 4-up, it's still not bad.
Well, like I said, the one we're talking about, the immovable phalanx, is if you take a 1 damage character's weapon and you hadn't moved this battle round, which is very important, moved, advanced, or fell back, you add 1 to your saving throws for that attack, which can be very powerful on warriors. And the fact that it specifically tells you battle round, which means that if you don't go first, you get it. And then if you're going second, you still will always get it every single turn because the battle round starts over after that. So if it gives you this very powerful advantage on turn 2, which is really, really interesting to try to push that. It's like, no, I want to go, I don't want to go first, which, a lot of times you have these armies that are designed that they have to go first. And if you have the ability to be like, nah, I don't really give a crap. You have a distinct advantage through most games because you are not dreading or puckering up whenever that roll is to see who actually gets to go first or not.
Yeah.
So
Banana Metru mentioned the other dynasty of the 5-up invuln and then the I think ignore AP 1 shots and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's another really, really strong one. Doesn't one of the dynasties also have like a straight up like feel no pain basically save
for mortal wounds? For
mortal wounds? Okay, yeah. So, like, warriors are a lot tougher. I mean, I remember back when the Necrons first came out, not even first came out, it was going to be 3rd or 4th edition, but the whole trick with fighting Necrons was, like, you have to wipe the entire squad before the willing back rolls. In one phase, if you can do it, but you need to kill the squad before they get their rolls at the end of the turn. Now you have to do it, but you have to do it, like, even faster because every attack they get to roll. So, like, if you did 6 wounds at the end of the attack, that's 6 rolls they get to make. You fire another squad at them, you do another 6 wounds, that's 6 more chances they have. Yeah, it bounces out overall, but, like, they're going to be making a crap load. I think it's going to slow the game down a little bit, but it's up to the Necron player to keep pace, I think. But it's just going to be, like, so many saves.
It's a baby Goatboy.
It's got my own little Necron warrior. Hi. What? No.
Well, hello there. So, and then I guess the last of the units we should talk about real quick is Ophidian Destroyers. And Ophidian Destroyers are weird because, like, let's kind of do a comparison of Ophidian Destroyers versus Wraiths. Like, these are units that are super, super, really similar. There's, like, little subtle differences. It's kind of one of those, like, when would you want one but not the other?
Well, one can, like, one's a full-on Necron and can move around more often. What do you want?
Yeah.
You like Ophidian Destroyers? Yeah.
Wraiths still have the 3-up invuln, right?
Yes,
no, they have a 4-up. No, Wraiths have a
4-up now? Yeah.
Yeah, they have a 4-up. So, yeah, so Wraiths still have the weird like Wraith form, so they can just, like, move through things. As if they're not there, whereas Ophidian Destroyers are funky because they're tunnelers. They're like Raveners.
Yeah,
they're like Tyranny Raveners. So they're deep strikers. They come up. Whereas
they pop up on the ground.
Yeah. Whereas Wraiths not. So Wraiths, you're going to deploy them and they're going to move forward. And Ophidian Destroyers are just going to pop up. They're both assault units. They're both melee units. Ophidian Destroyers are hitting on a 3-up, whereas Wraiths aren't. So it's basically Ophidian Destroyers they're Necrons. They hit better, but they're going to be slightly easier to kill. But they also don't have to, like, walk all the way over there. Whereas Wraiths are more durable, but they have to make it all the way over. And when they get there, they're not as tough.
I mean, the big thing with the Ophidians, they have a lot more attacks. So they all have Ophidian claws with just 2 extra attacks on top of it. And then they either have the hyper reap blades that basically give additional hits, or they have the other one that makes additional attacks. And then they also re-roll ones that hit automatically by themselves. They don't need anyone around them at the same time too. And
nice.
Yep. So they're considered infantry, and they're destroyer cult. So there's lots of little things on here that they can basically go up there and be kinds of pains in the butt.
And you can tell Games Workshop definitely wanted you to have an agonizing choice, because these units are not only roughly similar, they're both 35 points a model. So they are the same, identical. So it's a which one do you want? Because that's the one you're going to go with.
Yeah. I think for newer players, go with the new Ophidian Destroyers. and
I don't know. I think it's interesting setup. Like the book is just like if you want a big crushing assault, it feels like you might just go spiders, lots of spiders, and they spit out scarabs that get in the way, and then spiders hit like a brick, like and just wreck stuff. So
Thomas, I was going to ask you about that. What you thought, like the Necrons basically getting the option to build a legit melee force at this in this edition with that book. Like, do you think that's a thing that they can do? Or do you think that that's going to be actually just a pitfall that players are going to fall in with the Necrons?
You can. So you have I've talked a little bit about it. Like this edition has very much board control, and those big smashy style lists are very good board control, where you don't want to let them in there. So where are you going to go? And then you can have backfield of scarabs and other stuff and other things. Brandon says it's my downfall of how I write lists a lot of times, where I have a bunch of big smashy stuff and a bunch of little crap that goes holds the back end objective. But this list does it, and it's a very powerful option with things that heal, things that do stuff, mixed in with very scary things that causes you to have lots of off focus points. So I think it's really there, and I think there's a really powerful close combat army that's going to be rough, pretty fast to play. And you're just going to have to be like, here comes a bunch of spiders and everything else, which I think is great. I mean, I think like everyone's like, oh, shooting is here to go. I was like, shooting doesn't let you move. Assault lets you move. Anything that gives you 2 moves in a phase, or a lot of these armies have basically have move plus D6 and then 2D6 plus all the pluses is huge, especially on a smaller board. And so that's how I expect to win. I'm going to win a lot of my games that I'm basically in your business so fast that you don't have time to make a correct decision. And so many people are used to castling, used to like, okay, I got to hold this stuff, I got to do this stuff. And you're like, nah, man, I'm not going to do it. You're going to say, you're going to play to my game, which just means I'm going to push you over here. So
I think Necrons can do it now. They have enough melee units and enough options to really be able to do that. So,
real quick, what do we think of the Monolith? Because we're getting close to the end of the show here. What's your take on it?
That new kit is awesome. Lord of War, which is what's going to keep it from showing up in a lot of stuff. But that new kit is really, really nice. I don't know what space it fits anymore. I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot of it as just a centerpiece in someone's army to kind of build their table terrain, but maybe not necessarily used. It doesn't fit my playstyle, even though I love the fact that it floats around and smacks the crap out of you if you get near.
I mean, it can deep strike, and then you can pull units through it still. I mean, it can be used aggressively. It's weird, but it can be.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic kit. I think definitely compared to the old Monolith, this is clearly an upgrade. Just it looks like a cool hobby kit. I don't know, because it is a Lord of War now. I think that's where it's going to suffer, like Thomas was saying, the most. I don't know if people are going to want to take a Lord of War in their list if it's not something else. But hey, on the flip side, Necrons have like the most Lords of War in one codex that we've seen. So that's a plus. I don't know. Is that a plus?
Monolith, the Monolith, the
Tesseract Vault, and the other Tesseract Vault.
That's 3, right?
and Silent King.
And Silent King.
Duh.
Yeah.
So he is coming there. He is going to use all the toilet paper in your bathroom and not tell anyone at the party, because that Sonic King is a jerk.
He can do whatever he wants.
He's gonna clog the toilet and leave.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, you want to talk really, really quick? That's going to wrap the 40K side of it. Adam, let's just give us like a 1 or 2 minute quick overview of Sons of Bahamut. Thomas, do not go anywhere because we're gonna Mars is gonna we're gonna after Adam finishes here, real quick, we're gonna go over our schedule and then we're gonna end the show with our 40K spot question you have to answer in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Everyone, get ready for it. All right, Thomas, go. I mean, Adam.
So real fast too, if you have the pitch battle profiles from the General's Handbook 2020, you have the points for the Sons of Bahamut. So one of two things I would call out about this thing. It's a neat concept. Everybody's comparing this to Imperial Knights for 40K from 40K. Now it's Imperial Knights in Age of Sigmar, and it is. This is clearly a move by GW to create something that every army in the game can use. I think at 2K it's going to be a weird list to play. You've got a couple of options. We showed off some example lists where you could basically take one of each of the Mega-Gargants, and then you'd have to take 3 of the smaller Gargants, and it's weird calling them small, but the smaller Gargants, one in units of 1 to fill out your battle line, because the Mega-Gargants are still behemoths, but they are also your leader options. So you have to have at least 1 for your army, and at the points values that are in the General's Handbook, you could build it a couple different ways. Me personally, I'd probably want to run 2 of them, and then like somewhere between 2 or 3 and 6 of the little Gargants, depending on how many you can squeeze in there, points wise, depending on which Gargant you ran. I didn't see anything. First off, they don't have any real spells. They have one way to become a wizard, but they don't have a dedicated Gargant magic. So that's going to be their biggest downfall. Yeah, they don't have a way to deal with magic. So if you take this army up against the Tzeentch army, the Tzeentch army is going to completely dominate the magic phase. When it comes to the rest of the phases, yeah, they can still do stuff. They are very smashy. Each one of the Gargants has base 35 wounds. There's ways in the book to take your Warlord up to 40 wounds. There's ways in this book to get armor saves, rerolls, and stuff like that. Provide a lot of other rerolls to either themselves or other units and things like that. If you want to run it as a pure Sons of Bahamut army, you could totally do that. Again, I don't know how effective that's going to be. If an army has a lot of rending attacks, like if you have an army with a boatload of -1 rend or -2 rend, and you get in there with one of the giants, with one of the Gargants, they have a 4-up save, 35 wounds. Again, that's pretty good. But if you have a bunch of rend, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad for giants because every model they lose is a big deal. So, and it's a low model count army. So if you find a way to string them out and pick them off one by one, you could do it. Holding objectives for them is going to be a challenge, but I think that is the challenge of playing this army, is trying to figure out how to win games with it. So it's such a cool model though. I got to build it. It was pretty easy to build. The torso and the legs are basically identical across all 3 versions of it. The feet and the arms and the head and some of the extra doodads on the body are different, and that's what makes each giant different. So, yeah, for me, I want the Gatecrasher in my list. I want to play some games with it. It's a quarter of your army essentially. So you got to weigh the value of like this ally slot that has special rules that even though it's over 400 points, I can still play with. And is that almost 500 points worth it for my 2K list? Is it doing something that I can't do normally, or is it providing a problem for my opponents that they can't deal with normally? Is it worth the 500 points out of my list, my 2K list down to 1,500 points now? So, yeah. I overall though, I think it is a bit more balanced than Knights were when they were introduced. Just because, again, when Knights came out, it was pretty much Imperium only. Then Chaos got Knights. And so if you were playing Power Armor or Imperium, you were good. If you were playing a Xenos army, you didn't have a Knight equivalent.
Yep.
And Eldar kind of, but and Orcs had Gargants, but those aren't comparable at all. But with this army, with this kit, with the new Mega-Gargants, every army has the ability to do that. What is Banana Andrew saying here? Can you do the thing where you pick which realm they come from in order to get access to specific relics? I think you can still do the realm thing. I don't see why you can't. Because the realm thing you pick, you basically pick the realm thing and the list construction. So you should still get access to each one of the realm relics. Realm relics is a fun. Say that 3 times fast. But yeah, you can totally ignore their AP if you do that, Banana Andrew. So, but again, there's lots of armies out there that can generate enough attacks to make giants afraid. 35 wounds with a 4-up save is a lot, and they don't degrade until they hit, like, I think it's 12 wounds taken per guy. Let me check real fast. Yeah. So once they suffer 13 wounds, then they start degrading, which is a pretty big hurdle for some armies to climb. But yeah, overall, I like the implementation of them just because, again, everybody has access to them. So will that change the meta? Will that shake things up a whole bunch? I don't think it's going to be that big of a shakeup, especially right now in the current competitive environment where it's not happening. So we really won't see the impact of these guys until, I would say, next year at some point when the tournament circuit can hopefully come back and we can actually see them in action against players that know what they're doing in a big pool enough to actually get some good data. So, but I think they're cool, but I don't think they're going to be mandatory, if that makes sense.
Mars, do you want to go talk about our schedule for the rest of the week?
Yeah, sure. Tomorrow we have the RPG Corner with JR and Megan that starts at 3 p.m. Central. I'm sure there will be some talks about what's going on with Frost Maiden and Tasha's Cauldron. Wednesday evening we've got Goatboy with us.
Probably not this evening because it's my son's birthday. So
okay. Hey, that's a good reason not to stream. Take care of it. And then Friday we've got Adam coming in to take a look at what's all going to come out during the weekend, thanks to Dragon Slayer Austin. That's also around 3 p.m. Central.
All right, and that is our show. But before we go, your spot question, dun, 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 putting everybody on the line. When you build your dream Necron army, which Catan are you going to take? Adam.
Oh, Void Dragon, hands down. Duh.
Wow. Thomas?
You already know that answer. It's Void Dragon as well. I just played Icewind Dale this weekend. I played D&D for the first time since Thaco.
Wow. Ooh. Holy crap. Ooh. Impressive.
It's much better now. Huh?
Much better.
I'm doing Nightbringer because my Nightbringer is super pretty and he's covered with dust. And he has not been pulled out of his foam tray in like 15 years.
You should just spray seal it with the dust and that way it's locked on it. Drist, he's my boyfriend.
He's like, he's covered with the dust of the dead. Dun, dun, dun. All right, everyone. That is our show for this week. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, Adam, you got something? All right, Thomas, thank you.
I picked up this thing from Dragon Slayer because I showed it off, and I was like, I need a dice tray. I want some Frost Maiden dice. So
you bought the thing. Cool.
I bought the thing from DL. It was good.
I might have to buy some metal dice. I saw someone have that. Felt really nice when I rolled the.
Oh my god, there is like an entire universe of D&D custom dice. If you want custom dice, it's crazy how much stuff there are. All right, go boy. Stay golden, buddy. Stay golden, pony boy.
Stay golden.
Bye.
Bye.